So in this week's gospel, we see Jesus heal Peter's mother-in-law who had a fever. Then he cast out demons from people who had gathered at her house. Two things struck me: the minor healing and the healing of a crowd of people. So in addition to the Mark 1 passage, we read Isaiah 40. There's an interesting play on words here. Jesus healed Simon's mother-in-law and she served or waited on Jesus. In Isaiah, those who wait upon the Lord will, from their weariness, rise up, walk and run and not grow weary. I enjoy reading the complete Jewish Bible and the Orthodox Jewish Bible to cross-reference the words and the phrasing used in the ESV, English Standard Version, and the Good News Translation. The complete Jewish and the Orthodox Jewish are sometimes packed with detail that is missed in the ESV or the Good News. So it's striking that something as small as a fever was important to Jesus because it was important to Peter and Andrew, those in the household. The ESV states that Simon's mother-in-law was ill with a fever, but the Orthodox Jewish says that she was bedridden and fever-stricken. You see, in the Jewish versions, there's richer detail there. So the Orthodox Jewish states that when she was healed, she started functioning as a servant or a lady minister. I won't say too much about that or go too deeply into it, except just to say that it's there. Maybe another scripture, another time we can go into that. So both versions state that the whole town gathered at the door of the house and brought the sick and demon-possessed. So I don't recall when I heard or saw a whole town gathering. I can't imagine what it must be like to pull in an entire town who had brought their sick and demon-possessed friends and relatives from all over the city. It's probably not a normal type of gathering. And to top it, Jesus healed the sick and the demon-possessed, and they left well. But here's the thing, that's probably not the most striking bit. I wonder what it must have been like to be among a crowd of demon-possessed people. Ordinarily, I think that might be scary, right? Verse 34 says that Jesus, Rebbe Melech HaMoshiach, religious teacher, king, Messiah, did not permit them, that's the demons, to speak. Other versions stop there, but the Orthodox Jewish elaborates, giving the reason he did not allow the demons to speak: because they knew the mystery of his identity. Then the Isaiah passage. This passage is the first chapter, chapter 40, of what's known to be the second Isaiah. First Isaiah, chapters 1 to 39, deals with God's judgment of Israel for their sin, unfaithfulness, the foolish actions of their leaders and the people. And then the second deals with God comforting Israel while in exile. And then some separate the last 11 chapters, third Isaiah, that deals with everlasting deliverance for Israel. Chapter 40 recalls God's faithfulness, his promise to strengthen Israel, and that he will once again deliver the nation. I wonder what it was like to hear the words of Isaiah 40 while in exile. There may have been a range of reactions, from disbelief, anger, blunted emotions, and sadness. So together we see Jesus' concern for the individual and for the city. In Isaiah we see concern for the individual and for the nation. And I'm encouraged when I look back through fever, disappointment, sorrow, grieving, calamity, and exile, God is near. Father, thank you that Jesus showed his concern for Peter's mother-in-law. Thank you for encouraging Israel in exile. And thank you that your faithfulness echoes into our lives.